Welcome to Weather and Climate Chat. I am Monsoon Mike, and I'm joined in the studio with me, as I am each and every time that we do this, with
Dr. Michael Davis.
And as part of your weather analysis class this year, we've been featuring quite frequently on these podcasts one of your fine students. You want to introduce yourself, sir?
Hi, my name is Camerin Carroll.
Welcome, Cameron. We've heard your forecasts throughout the semester on KUR, so we're good to have you in the studio to chat up with us a little bit about current and future weather and about some climate issues as well. So welcome aboard. Feel free to jump in anytime, okay?
Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay, so Dr. Davis, as we're recording this, it's I guess you would say, a seasonably average, chilly December day. But I think the big thought still on everybody's mind was a little snowstorm that failed to kind of materialize this past week.
Well, in our part of the woods, at least.
Yeah, I mean,
Kutztown area.
right. And we should mention that not far from here, they had some pretty good snowfalls. The models had a tremendously hard time with this particular storm. They pretty much had us missing the storm, and then last minute they kind of jogged the snowfall line back to us, and we thought we were going to get a couple of inches at least, but then maybe the models were right to begin with because it wound up not affecting our area really at all.
Yeah, because it looked like it was going to not be that big of a storm Saturday, into early Sunday.
Right.
And then Sunday afternoon, the models really got more vigorous in their amount of snowfall. And I think our area jumped about 2-3 inches in storm total at that point.
Yeah.
And I kept going back and forth on it because it was right on, like Berks County, for instance, was right on the line between the advisory and the warning. So I had a feeling that there was probably going to be some type of sharp cutoff with the actual snowfall.
And there was.
And there definitely was.
Definitely was. In fact, I don't have the pictures with me, but the National Weather Service posted a picture yesterday, a satellite picture, and you could see, because it was yesterday it wasn't clear, I'm sorry. The day before was clear, Tuesday. Yesterday was kind of a cloudy gray day. But the day before, when it was clear, the satellite picture, you could clearly see where the snowfall was.
Like northeastern PA.
Northeastern, pretty much just cut off. And on my weather page, I had some people telling me that it was the craziest thing. They were driving down like from Scranton, and it was like snow on the ground, snow on the ground, snow on the ground. All of a sudden, nothing. And then they would go through another patch of snow on the ground, and then nothing. So it seemed like there was a real sharp cutoff, and occasionally little bands of snow would sneak a little further west, but never got this far west.
Did you get any snow, Cameron?
I did not get any snow. It only during like around midnight got a little snow in your car and stuff like that, but it cleared right in the morning.
Yeah. So it was, for a snow lover like me, that was a little disappointing.
Yeah, and everything just stayed pretty much right along the Delaware River. You didn't really see much of the precip shield moving west into PA.
Yes, and it kind of just stopped once it got to the Delaware River.
I think on campus we had a few flurries around 10, 11 o'clock Monday morning.
Right.
And that was it.
Now, the day prior, with the first arm of the storm, I guess you could say, that was a little bit tricky because we remember the freezing rain.
Yes, we had the freezing rain, the sleet, and some of it was coming down quite heavily at times on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday was a nasty day. Sunday was a nasty day. There was accidents on the road. Had that been a weekday, I'm assuming it would have been much worse, but fortunately...
But then again, people were coming back from Thanksgiving.
That's true, too.
That was an inopportune time.
True. So, yeah, and so, we had that, and then the second arm of the storm never really materialized over our area, but did about 50 to 100 miles, northeast, or not even that far, maybe 40, 50, 60 miles northeast of here. Then we got into Tuesday was generally a nice, cold, sunny day. Yesterday was kind of a weird day. I actually got more where I live in Auburn, got more snow yesterday morning with that little snow shower that came through around 4 in the morning than I got from the storm 2 days prior.
Yeah, some of my students were saying that they got an inch or two out of it. And that seemed kind of a quick-hitting storm that just kind of moved out fairly quickly after it did its business.
Right. Today, as we're recording this on the 5th, kind of just another normal, average, chilly December day, a little cloudy. I believe we have another day coming tomorrow with perhaps some rain or snow showers. Last I checked,
it looked like a rain-snow mix.
Yeah, last I checked from the National Weather Service, I believe that's associated. What is that associated with? A front, I believe.
Yeah, there's a front moving through the Great Lakes right now that may throw out some energy that gives us some snow flurries. Further toward Lake Erie, for instance, they were getting some pretty good lake effect snows.
Which is normal for this time of year.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think they're calling for mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, slight chance of rain in the afternoon, highs in the low 40s, and that's associated with a strong but moisture-limited cold front, as they put in their discussion. And that strong but moisture-limited cold front will make Saturday quite cold, highs only in the mid-30s, it looks like. Sunday, highs around 40, but it looks like a nice...
But no precip.
No precip. It will be
and sunny.
Yeah, it'll be a cold feeling weekend, but it'll be a nice looking weekend, as I like to say. Not so good feeling, but good looking. Then next week's an interesting week because we go from a couple of days of above to maybe even you would consider this well above normal temperatures. Tuesday, they're calling for a high of 56 degrees. And that's associated with, looks like some Gulf moisture that's going to be temporarily bringing in some, bringing in some warm air from the south on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, the maritime tropical air is coming up.
Yeah. Now, Monday, they're calling for a high of 51. Tuesday, a high of 56. I think down near Philly, they're calling for even near 60 on Tuesday. So it'll feel nice Monday and Tuesday, but it won't necessarily look nice.
Break out the shorts.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it'll feel nice, but it won't necessarily look nice because Monday and Tuesday look quite, especially, well, actually Monday too. Monday and Tuesday look quite wet. So we could be dealing with a couple, an inch or so of rain those 2 days. Then a cold front swings through behind that. And it looks like temperatures crash, and from highs of 56 on Tuesday to highs of 34 on Wednesday. So that's quite a change in 24 hours.
Yes, 20-degree shift is pretty common with a cold frontal passage. And
the 12 o'clock model is still running at this point, but we don't like to go too far out. But just for laughs and giggles, the GFS trying to form some sort of winter storm next weekend,
which would be commencement.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that. That would be the university's luck, wouldn't it? Well, actually, no. If you follow this model to the T, Saturday looks like it would be fine. It would be more of a Sunday storm, so that's good at least. But again, we're talking 10
plenty
days
of time
out.
For this to
plenty of time for us to talk about that. And we saw how well the models did with the last storm, aka not so well.
Nope.
So we'll let that go. Beyond that, temperature-wise, looks fairly seasonably cold up until the couple of days before Christmas. 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, about average, maybe, and then 8 to 14 day outlook about average. So not a whole lot of variation one way or the other. So there you have it. For all the folks out there worried about that white Christmas, I don't know. Check back next week. Are we going to record next week, Dr. Davis?
Yeah, I should be around.
Okay. We'll reanalyze that next week. Okay. All right. So climate topic.
Do you have any inkling,
you have any? You want to jump in on anything?
Storm?
You've been very quiet.
Not that I know of. I just always think back how that it's been a long time since we had a white Christmas. I believe it was around 10 years ago in Philadelphia we had a white Christmas, and then about a few years ago, not so long ago, we had around 60, 70 degrees around Christmas. It was a very warm, sunny day on that day.
I actually remember both. I love weather history, so I remember, 2 Christmases ago, we had that crazy 72 degrees.
Yeah, people were barbecuing.
Right. And then I actually remember that storm that you're talking about, too. That affected Philadelphia more than here, because I think it was a southern runner-type storm. I want to say that was 2009, 10, but you guys had a big snowstorm right before Christmas, like December 22nd. I remember that. So you're right on both accounts. So it'd be nice to have a white Christmas. I don't know. Do you well, first of all, do you like snow? I mean, we've had some of your students hate it, some of your students love it, some of you are kind of in between.
I'm in between because you have snow activities, but when you're out in college and in the second semester when you have few snowstorms and snow pile up, it's kind of hard to walk through campus and stuff. But I would love to have a white Christmas. It'll give the snow Christmas effect more spiritual and stuff like that.
Sure. Okay. Well, we'll see where it goes this year. I mean, it does look like after next week, the cold air does stay generally locked in place for much of the coming few weeks. So maybe we're in a favorable setup for that. Dr. Davis, you had a couple of weeks ago, might have been one of the last times that we actually spoke, because last week was Thanksgiving, so we didn't really speak last week. The week before that, a big climate strike on campus. You want to talk a little bit about how that went?
Yeah, the climate strike happened on campus. We had about 30 or so students come out. I believe WFMZ came out and they recorded, and so the Reading Eagle. So we made the paper, and we also made the nightly news, if not mistaken. And it was received rather well, I felt, by students, and they got very vocal and shared their concerns with the campus community that we should be doing something about climate change here at Kutztown. And there is talk potentially about another climate strike happening in the near future. So I'll keep you posted if I hear anything more about that.
Cool. Yeah, I think it was well received as well. It was actually, you guys happened to have your climate strike right when a couple of hours of rain, a cold, miserable rain came through.
Yes, and we were still out there. And
you were still out there,
really pushing for climate advocacy.
And what I found interesting about what you did was it wasn't just you guys mouthing off about national or international climate stuff. You were talking about stuff right here on campus, how the campus could be doing more potentially for, helping the climate.
Yeah, they don't need to just immediately jump into the renewable pool. They can do smaller things such as limit the amount of waste from their dining halls, look at energy efficiency on campus, and see what buildings can have their lights dimmed if they're not being used. Or these are small things that can be done that can really cut back on your carbon footprint.
Yeah, and if every university did small things like that across the country, that'd be a pretty major
that'd be
impact.
A very substantial cut in carbon emissions.
Very substantial. Well, good. Now, of course, I wasn't going to mention it, but we'll have some fun with it. There's always the climate deniers out there, and there were some people that took to social media after your event to mock it. And you got to expect that. You just kind of laugh those comments off. And a lot of the comments I just find extremely, ignorant. I saw one comment. It was like, "Oh, interesting. They're fighting climate change, and it's a cold, rainy. It's a cold day.
Weather and climate are different.
Yeah, so it's cold. So that means there's no climate change. So it's okay." So
in other news, I just ate today, so global hunger is over.
There you go. A very, very good analogy as well too. See, that's what we have to deal with. So. But you're always going to have some people like that, and you just take it in stride. And
the thing is, most of the denier comments now are geared more toward personal attacks and not going toward the message.
Absolutely.
They cannot find fault in the message.
Right.
So if they cannot find fault in the actual science, the next thing is to go after
personal
the messenger
attacks.
and try to discredit them.
Right. Which is really immature if you think about it.
It is.
Yeah. Any comments over here?
I would, if I could have joined the climate strike, I definitely would, because it's kind of crazy out there. You have I don't know if you guys saw it. Leonardo DiCaprio did that movie about climate, and he went around the world talking to climate leaders and trying to find out. And he actually did info on that. He went out into Iceland, went out to other places like that, saw ice fall, and saw water sea level rising and stuff like that. He had these people models and idols and stars, but not climate leaders, trying to find factual statistics that climate change is actually real and stuff like that.
Right.
You even have the Pope, like you said. The Pope wants demand action about it, and I would like to see action about it too.
And did you see that the Brazilian president claimed that Leonardo DiCaprio started the Amazon fires?
No, I didn't see that.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I missed that. Wow.
I don't know how one single person could start a fire like that.
And other climate activists started a fire to promote awareness about climate change and to get money.
Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how these guys will just go to such lengths to prove their
Never mind all the illegal logging that's going on in the Amazon.
Never mind all that stuff, right. Yeah, and shout out to the Pope, who, despite growing recognition of climate change as a legitimate and looming threat, current commitments to mitigate its effects and alter human behavior fall well short of those needed to resolve the crisis in time, said Pope Francis. Now, Pope Francis, what's interesting about him is he's a little bit more of a progressive pope than we've had in recent years, and he's also got a scientific background. So,
yes, he's a chemist.
So he actually knows this stuff. Which
because right now all the pledges that the countries have put forth to address the Paris Climate Agreement put us at 5 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial times, which is much higher than the 1.5 degrees Celsius that science says we need to be at. And that's why you have leaders gathering in Madrid this week, and I believe next week too. at the COP25 to talk about laying out the roadmap of how do we get to where we need to be.
Right.
Because the Paris Climate Agreement was enacted in 2015, and it's been almost 5 years now.
Right.
So every 5 years we meet and start ratcheting up these ambitions, and we clearly are not where we need to be.
Right.
And we have very little action that's being taken.
Right.
And until we have very substantial and meaningful action, the whole Paris Climate Agreement is a crock, pretty much.
Pretty much, right. Wow. Well, like you said, you guys are doing a great thing by bringing awareness to campus, like with that climate strike, and you said another one might be coming next semester, perhaps?
Yes, next semester at some point.
Cool.
I don't know when our organizers are planning on that, but
okay.
There will be something again on campus.
Remember not to do it during a blizzard, because then the people will be like, oh, it's snowing, so climate change doesn't exist. Unbelievable. Well, thanks so much for at least bringing that attention. And we also have to give a shout out to one of your former students, Shayna Rose, who is, I think,
Shayna is over in Madrid right now.
She's over in Madrid now. Cool. And she was one of the big organizers of that event a couple of weeks ago.
That's right.
And she remains extremely active with climate awareness on campus and around the world.
Yes,
actually.
and I'm quite proud of all her achievements that she's had.
Amazing young lady for sure. All right, any final words from our guest over here?
Nope, that's all.
All right, awesome. Well, have a great holiday, great winter break. You're back next semester?
Yes, for sure.
That's right. Dr. Davis said you're going to be taking, what are you taking next semester?
Climatology and
global warming, the science of
awesome.
change.
Cool. All right. Well, that definitely sounds like a great class.
And good luck to every student on their finals this upcoming week.
Good luck with that. And Dr. Davis, you and I guess this does it now for all of your guests from your class? Pretty much?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So when we record next week, hopefully, it'll probably just be you and I, and we'll evaluate how commencement weekend is looking and maybe take an early look at Christmas week. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
All right. Dr. Michael Davis, thank you so much, and thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
All right.